Hi, this is Vicky from Spellbound, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to brick stitch. So brick stitch is one of those really versatile basic stitches that every beader needs in their armoury, and it's quite straightforward to do. There's a few quirks that you need to think about, but on the whole it's a lovely straightforward stitch that we use in lots of our kits. There are downloadable instructions available on our website for free. If you go to our homepage and then go to the techniques, you'll need to scroll down a little bit, but there's 2 pages of instructions, and there's also a blank design grid so you can have a go at designing your own brick stitch project. So for the purposes of the demo, I've got 2 colours of size 11 Delicas. These will lock together really well, so they make a nice sturdy fabric. I've got my Nymo. I'm using a contrasting colour today so you can see it against the beads, and I've also got a size 10 needle. So brick stitch is going to start with ladder stitch. So we're going to start by picking up 2 beads. We're going to pick up 1 of each colour to start. I'm going to slide them down to the keeper bead. This is just a bead to stop everything falling off the end. I'm going to go up through the first bead we've added, and then down through the second. Okay, we're going to pick up a 3rd bead. I'm going to go down through the second and up through the 3rd. I'm going to keep doing this just till we make a little line. If you pinch the beads that you've already added quite firmly between your fingers, this will just help persuade them to stay in place. So come back down, back up. Okay, there we go. So that's what's that, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, there we go. So that's 8 beads ladder stitched together. So the holes are all running parallel to one another, and you should just be able to see the thread that's running across the top. Now with brick stitch, you're actually working through under the thread rather than necessarily through the beads. So ready to start the first row proper. So the first stitch on brick stitch, you always pick up 2 beads. So we'll pick up 2 white ones, and we're going to go under that thread bridge just there. So just pull through, and to persuade your beads to sit next to one another, and then go back up through the second bead that you've just added. Okay, there we go. And just tell your beads where you want them to sit. So next stitch, pick up 1 bead. I'm going to go under the next thread bridge. Up and up. I'm going to keep going across. And up through. Okay, and that is your first row of brick stitch. So start the next row. We'll use the black beads. We're going to pick up 2 beads again, and we're going to come through and up. And again, don't be afraid to manipulate sorry, your beadwork. So there we go. So brick stitch is great. We use it in lots of our kits. So if you want a good starter kit, then the Domenica necklace is a great one for teaching you how to do shaping. There's the Scion tassel that uses circular brick stitch and shaped brick stitch, as well as some other stitches to make your tassels. There's the Moroccan tassel that uses brick stitch. So there's lots and lots of different stitches, lots and lots of different kits for you to choose from. So there we go. Keep going. And keep coming. And your last stitch of the row. There we go. Okay, so there you go. So ladder stitch foundation row and 2 rows of brick stitch. So what I'll show you now is how to decrease your stitching. So we'll start by doing a gentle decrease. So to do that, you're coming out of the hole in your bead here. If you just come under that thread bridge without adding any beads on, just make sure you put it quite firmly. Then you'll be in the right place to pick up 2 stitches to start the next row. So you come under the next thread bridge and up there, and keep coming across. And there we go. And to decrease at the end of a row, just stop. That's it. Literally just stop. So we're going to come back in the other direction. There we go. There we go. And come across. There. And there. And if you just keep decreasing like this, now because of the structure of brick stitch, which hopefully you can see forming here, where you get sort of the slightly offset beads on each row, this is quite nice for doing things like making curves. So you can do sort of quite sinuous, gentle curves with this, and you can do good stripes, as you can see. You can't you can do horizontal stripes. Vertical stripes don't work because of the structure of the beads. The beads are offset by half a bead, so your stripe will be more of a zigzag. But you can do curves, you can do straight lines, you can do good diagonal lines as well. These line up really nicely to give you good strong diagonals, so it lends itself quite well to diamond shapes and things like that. You've also got, because of the way the holes line up along the edge, you've also got a really good place to start a fringe from. So if you like doing fringes and tassels, then brick stitch is quite good. And the other thing you can do as well, because brick stitch won't bend this way but it will roll, you can actually use it as a base to do a tassel that's like a wider tassel rather than a tassel where everything hangs from a single point. So that's something to consider. Don't forget, we love to see what you're doing. So if you have done anything inspired by any of these videos or by any of our kits, get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us via Facebook. You can get in touch with us on Instagram. If you use the hashtag #MadeItWithSpellbound, then we'll find it there. So that's a way to find us. Tag us in the pictures as well. We love to see what people are up to. You can always send us an email as well if you prefer. You know, and get in touch with us that way if you don't want to put your work out there publicly. So here we go. Now, as you can see, I've got to the top of my my little triangular shape here. So just going to add a single bead at the top. Now there's two ways you can do this, and some ways will be suitable for one purpose, some ways will be suitable for another. So the easiest thing to do is to just pick up a single bead and come straight back down through the second of the two beads that you've got left. This will sit your delica with the hole running at 90 degrees to the rest of the holes. So this will work quite well if you want to make like a little pendant motif that you want to hang something from, because it gives you that threading hole to be able to pass through your work. If you want to use it on the, say, the bottom of a motif, you know, if we turn it around this way, there we go, we're on the bottom of the motif, and you want to just make a point, what you can do is just pick up your bead, and then without adding a second bead, come under the thread. So you'll have a little strap of beads running down the side of that top bead. Come back up through the bead there, and then to even it out, do the same thing on the second side. So under and up. And there you go. There's your bead attached to the top. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just work your thread down here, and then we can show you how to do a sharper decrease on the other side of the work. So, joy of brick stitch is because of the way the holes line up, you can just slip down through and pop down. And work your way back down to the bottom. Okay, so make sure I come out of the right bead. Right, so there we go. We're back at the other side of the foundation row. Now, if I wanted to, I could just start working straight off this row again and make this symmetrical. But what I want to do is I want to start my beads here between this second pair of black and white beads. So to do that, we need to reposition the needle. So we're going to come down through that first bead, and then we're going to come off this way there, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to go back up, so we're coming out through that black bead there, and then we can work the row in exactly the same way as before. So remember, 2 beads for the start of the row, under the next thread and up, and persuade your beads to sit properly. If you need to, what you can do to straighten this up is come back down through that first bead, through the bead underneath, on the row underneath there, and come back up through the next bead on the row underneath and out through the top bead, the bead on the top of the row. And then I'll pick up another one, and we'll go under the thread and up, and again to decrease, you just at the end of a row you just stop, and there you have it. That is your basic introduction to brick stitch.